Well, hello everyone, welcome to World at War Comics. I am with the Skull Valley Comics team here. I think the best way maybe we could do this is to allow each of you to kind of explain what your role is over at Skull Valley, and then obviously you want to jump into DeathBlade. But before we get into all of that, man, happy new week. Hopefully everyone's doing well.
Yes, we're all
Oh
doing
yeah.
definitely. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, Edward. Yeah, appreciate it. So maybe we could kind of go around the horn and maybe you all can introduce yourselves and then we'll talk a little Skull Valley and then jump into this amazing Kickstarter that's about to start.
All right, I'll start off first. Hey everyone, my name is E.A. Brown. I am the creator of Skull Valley Comics and also the new, exciting, most anticipated comic book coming out this year, April 2025. Woo, we've made it. I'm excited to share this amazing comic with you.
Love it. Hey, Brian?
My turn now? Okay.
Yeah, why not? You're like to the left of me right here.
My name's Brian. I'm a Gemini. I like walks on the beach. I like cooking and doing the dishes. Um, no, in all reality, seriousness, I am the writer of DeathBlade. I am a career freelancer doing ghostwriting across all mediums, prose. I've done 5 New York Times bestsellers. I have 2 movies officially coming out based off of my own creative IP. In comic
Nice.
books, I've been a comic book fan my whole life. I did some contribution to Wizard magazine back in 2002, 2003. Of course, comic book fans know that magazine. It was like our Bible. My regular work appears on in River Comics as well as a couple other projects I can't really detail yet. And I have 2 novels coming out this year.
Wow, congrats,
And
Brian.
I
Congratulations.
like to sleep with the fan on
Yeah,
just to get back to the other stuff.
me too, actually.
Awesome. White noise.
All right, Alim, how about you, my friend?
All right, so Alim Leggertt, I'm the art director for DeathBlade issue number 1. I'm also the creator of the Diary of Sweet Pea, which was a runner-up in the Heroic Awards People Choice Awards this past year, C2E2, where I met Ed. Um, Also an artist. I've been doing a couple of mural projects for restaurants in Philadelphia. That's pretty much it.
Nice, Alim. Yeah, I was there at C2E2, and I was part of the team that put on the Heroic Awards. So you guys
Okay.
look familiar. Were you in the audience when they were doing the?
Yeah, I was out there with
Yeah,
my
that's
wife.
why.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome, man. All right, Chuck, you were up, my friend.
Yeah, man, I'm Chuck Pineua. I am a Ringo nominated writer and editor. I've worked on a ton of stuff. I'm also a novelist. So, yeah, been around the bush and definitely seen an awful lot of the amazing and ridiculous stuff that you can find in comics. And I don't care if it's amazing or ridiculous. I'm probably going to find a reason to like it anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I love that, man. I mean, comics is just amazing. I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like, especially on the indie side, although Marvel and DC are doing some great things, I feel like this is a golden age of indie comics. We've gotten so many amazing publishers that have come on the scene with really unique and amazing stories. And I feel like Skull Valley is about to bring that with Deathblade. So maybe we could kind of talk a little bit about Skull Valley, how it started, and what is that long-term vision of Skull Valley?
Well, I can tell you, Skull Valley started about 5 years ago, and it's took us a while to get off the bench a little bit. Right when we were getting started, there's a company out in Africa, in Nigeria, Africa, called Comic Republic, and they went to Comic Con in San Diego and blew up. And I connected with the creator and CEO, Jide Martin, and we helped them get a TV deal. Skull Valley is part of a bigger company called Jackie Boy, where I serve as the VP for film and television. And so when we started working there and helped them as time got closer to where, they were getting their deal, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to start doing my dream. My dream kind of started as a little kid. I was a huge Superman fan. Um, I am, I always say 80s and 90s were the golden years of comics, and you can't take that away from us. Um, that became my calling card. That was actually my first time that I actually, my best friend, um, we were very close and very tight. And I came in as Superman, and I don't think he meant anything by it, but he just felt, he said, Ed, you can't be Superman because you're black. And that was the first time someone ever said that to me. And it just blew me away. I was like, what? Because I never really thought about it like that. I was just like, I like Superman, and I saw Superman as embedded to his powers and to who he was as a person. I didn't see him based on color. And that was the first time that really like hurt me. And I was like, I came back, I was mad. And then my mom said something to me that was quite telling. Like I think every mother says, you can be whatever you want to be, you can do it, whatever. And so that time I made up my mind that I was going to do a comic. And um, DeathBlade is actually the embodiment of my life, actually. I was in a serious car accident and almost died. I was hit by a car in the back of the head and just totally just busted up. And that kind of helped my um, vision on just reading comics. And so DeathBlade embeds it doesn't matter how you look, you can be a hero. You know, you know, um, and I want children and I want people of all communities that is not based on color, is not based on origin, whatever, he is whoever you are, you can be that person. And Skull Valley, since then, now that we have started our first book, but we currently have, and Brian will say this, we currently have three other IPs or legends, excuse me, that are actually done.
Oh, wow.
Um, this is the first tent pole coming out for us. DeathBlade is a big deal. It's dealing with what's happening now. Then we have other IPs called The Conqueror, which is dealing back.
Mhm.
Um, dealing more, I would think Conan meets Star Wars type deal.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
Two things I love.
it's actually really good. Um, and then of course we have Project Dark, which is similar, but it's also dealing with today, what happened after the after effects. And then, of course, we have DeathBlade, and then we have another project called M, who the audience will meet in DeathBlade for the first time. So definitely a lot going on there for Skull Valley, and we have other projects as well that we're looking at, other mediums, animation, games, and stuff like that.
Wow, wow. That sounds amazing. So will this be a connected world with all these other characters that are coming?
It will be.
That's
It
awesome.
will be. Basically, I don't want to give the cliche, oh, everything, is connected. It's its own individual story. So, one plot line that you'll see in Deathblade, you can, find out a little bit more about in the other stuff. But you don't have to be, married to the other stuff to enjoy it, read it. All right, that's my 2 cents. There you go, Eddie. You're welcome.
But one of the things that we like, one of the series I like is Invincible, where they have all the different stories that kind of align with each other. That's kind of what I was kind of thinking, and I really like that process. Um, but each of these stories, each of the IPs can hold their own. You don't have to read The Conqueror. You may like Deathblade, say, hey, I can deal with that. I can deal with that universe, can deal with that world, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine with us. So we want to be able to give you a full-blown universe. I think one of the things people are going to find is, you're going to see our full-blown universe. You're going to see the characters that are developed within the Skull Valley universe. And also I meant to tell you, Skull Valley Comics, uh, our first name was actually supposed to be Ultraverse, but it was actually taken by a French comic book company.
Oh wow.
Our legal team said, you got to come up with a new name. And so we were like, wow, we're coming up. And I don't know if you, there was a, is it Bonavista Comics? It was a California Comics. They're no longer
Yeah.
out. And so we came up with Skull Valley. It's actually literally a town in Arizona. And that's where we came up with the name. And I thought that was cool because um, actually I didn't come up with it, but Philip, my partner, came up with it at the time. He came up with the name, and I was like, that is actually kind of cool. And so that's what Skull Valley Comics.
No, for sure, for sure. And then as far as on the art side, like the development of what the characters were actually going to look like, what did that process, how did that kind of carry out? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of communication. And then Alim, I assume that was you and maybe your team that kind of put together what each of the characters are going to end up looking like.
Yeah, well, so Ed already had a really strong idea of what he wanted for his characters when we met at C2E2. And I took a look at him, and he had like these really amazing 3D rendered images. I don't know if you got a chance to see them yet, but they're, like they blow your mind good. But I told him, you're going to need something two-dimensional that you can use with whatever artist that you choose. So, let me go ahead and just get my guys to do that for you real quick so you can get an idea what it looked like. So as you're reading the script, you can see the actual characters as you're dealing with them inside of your book. And, he was so impressed with that we started working together more, ended up doing the interiors, the colors and everything for the whole book, and try to be on, like you mentioned, Marvel and DC and the golden age of indie. I agree with you. I think that this really is the time for indie. And, indie is stepping up in a big way, and DeathBlade is going to be one of those books that, and, from my objective opinion, could be on the top shelf in the comic book store next to big titles and looks like it belongs there. You know what I mean? And we're seeing that more and more in indie. I'm really happy to see that progression. And I'm happy to be standing inside of that arena as well.
And to actually give credit, I got to give credit to Ink Studios, Kevin Gourlay and his wife Melanie. They have done a marvelous job in being patient with us. I'm new to the industry. It's different when you're a comic book reader to being a comic creator. I realize there's a lot, and I have to give them full credit for introducing me to Alim at the C2E2, because it was kind of weird because I already had an artist that I was working with at the time. And when Kevin said, you gotta let Alim do something. Let him just do something. And I said, okay, cool. I'll let him do something. And he did it, and he did it so well. I'm sitting there. Brian could tell you. I called Brian and I was like, we're in trouble, dude. Someone gotta go.
Yeah.
And like I told I told other people on other podcasts, I said, it wasn't that the other guy wasn't good. It's just that he wasn't for DeathBlade at that time. His style just didn't fit the mold of what we were looking for. I mean, when Alim hit it, they knocked it out the park. He knocked it out of orbit. And I'm just sitting there, I'm just like, okay, this is where we're gonna go. Let's go here. And it's a big deal about art, because I think that's what's, I guess if people want to know about Skull Valley, if anything, it's going to be story, and it's going to be the artistic visual effects. Because I think I feel as a reader and as comic book universe, they appreciate those things. They look at the art. They look at, can I read this book without the words? And you're going to be able to see that.
Amazing. Yeah. I love
yeah,
that.
I mean, and just to piggyback off of that real quick, sorry, but
yeah, please.
the script, like Brian's writing, was so crisp that it really made it easy to get an idea inside of my head of what it should look like. So just reading the pages and the actions is so well laid out that I'm able to then visualize and get a really good layout for what the art is going to be without too much back and forth and trouble and everything like that. It made it a really fast process and, like easy and intuitive process.
That's awesome. Yeah. You brought up an interesting point. And you talked about, a good artist can be in the wrong genre, I think. And I've experienced that, right? You have an amazing artist, they're really good at what they do, but maybe like horror, their art doesn't match horror, right? Or comedy or something like that. And just like writers, some writers are amazing at horror, but maybe not as good with superhero or vice versa. And I think that's okay, right? I think we all have our strengths. And yeah, you bring up a really good point. When you're writing a certain genre, everything has to align to that genre in order for it to hit for the reader, I think. So I fully understand where you're coming from. Fully
Right.
understand. Yeah.
And the same thing for writing.
Yeah.
And I'll let Brian. Brian can tell you the story. He's been with me the longest, other than Philip. Um, just the writing part of it, I think, is important for us. It's the story, it's the plots, and it's not. I feel sometimes as independent creators, sometimes we like to see our own tunnels,
Yeah.
and I'm not that type of guy. And I think the guys can tell you, I pretty much let them. They're all special in their roles. I have to outline in the plans of what I like as a director. I come in as a director more than just a writer.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I think that's really impressive, and I hope that everyone will see, is that we really thought out what we visualize in telling our story.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And then Chuck, when it comes to writing, so Brian, my understanding is DeathBlade, you're kind of taking the lead on DeathBlade. Chuck, are there a couple other, are you even allowed to kind of talk about it yet? I know it's a little early. Are you taking on some of the other titles that we talked about earlier?
We haven't talked about me as a writer yet because I'm an
Okay.
editor, and so
Okay.
mostly my position has been to rally the team to
Yeah.
make sure that we're hitting all the points that Ed wants to kind of be because it's also there's also like an educational level to it as well because Ed is coming in from a very fresh point of view as far as creating comics, and I think even for someone who's read a ton of comics there is so much invisible art that is a part of creating comics. And so that was something that we had to kind of educate and go over. Luckily, I'm working with Alim and Brian, who are virtually pros, you know what I mean? Except for their attitudes, but that's a whole other thing. But
What are you talking about?
what are you talking about?
What are you
Get all
talking
up in
about,
my
Liz?
face on Zoom. But just kind of like keeping the peace and making sure that no one's stepping on anybody else's toes and that we're able to get everything done, but also making sure that we're keeping up with the themes and the ideas and the aesthetic. So at this point we're not really. We haven't talked about me writing, but you never know what happens, man.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you, especially in the indie world, most indie creators, especially going into their first comic, because of the cost, right? The editor is usually the one thing that they don't do, right? They got to pay for the art, they got to pay for a letter, and you could tell when an editor is not involved, right? So it's probably, I mean, I don't know which one's more important, to be honest. They're all so important, but you got to cut somewhere sometimes, and unfortunately, it becomes the editing, and you're like, oh no.
I will tell you from an editor's standpoint. First off, I understand. Like I understand the idea. I will tell you, if you're getting variant covers and you have some of those beautiful, and let's like pull back the veil a little bit. You're talking, usually when you're talking about a variant cover, you're talking between $300 and $600 on the low end for a variant cover, way up. You're often paying more for a variant cover than you are for our services. So, like, come on, people, like seriously, maybe have one less variant or something like that because and you actually said it earlier, but the art will bring people into the book, but the story will keep them there for issue 2. And if the story's not there, or it's riddled with spelling mistakes, or there's continuity errors, like people pick up on that. Readers aren't dumb, and don't get caught with your finger in the pie, man. It's a bad call, man. Especially like I said, you can just have one less variant cover or something like that. And I'm not telling you you have to hire me, but
Yeah.
have someone who, because for us, especially as a freelance editor, when I'm looking at a book, I don't care necessarily, what Ed wants or what Brian wants. Like that's not my main focus. My main focus is the book. What is the best thing for the book? And sometimes the decisions that we make in the heat of the moment to make a comic aren't what's best for the book. And you need someone to just let you know, hey, bad call. Do not do this. I'm telling you, and then be able to explain it.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, could. And one thing I want to say about this team, these guys are incredible. Each and every one of them are amazing. And I would say this, and I'm pretty sure they will all tell you the same. It's not about me. This book is not about me as a creator. It's about DeathBlade. I realized when I went to C2E2, that was my first actually Comic-Con actually ever. So, going to Chicago, seeing all those amazing people at the Comic-Con, I realized then, oh shoot, it got real with me real quick. And I was like, you better bring it because they're going to let you know as clearly without even buying it. So you better have a good team. And so that's why I'm thankful that Kevin at Ink Studio introduced me to some amazing people and allowed me to build this team. This is an A team. Most people wouldn't expect that from an indie, from especially a new person coming in. But I would say, not just because in my prior experience, but I realized, we needed the best to be able to do this, and I feel that I got the best team out there, and that we can, that people are going to see the work that we've done, and I hope that
Yeah.
they.
Yeah, I love that. If you could do all those things as you're, revealing a brand new publisher to the comic community, man, you're going to make a lot of noise right off the bat. So I couldn't agree with you more. If you have the ability to put a team like this together for your first one, I think that's a really good foundation to build off of for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it starts with writing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Brian has set the bar. He has set the bar. Matter of fact, the bar is so high. I told him, I said, you're gonna have to duplicate that, my friend. You have to duplicate it, and I know he.
The reason why I get paid the big bucks.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he's got to duplicate it. It's gonna be. We're having fun doing it.
Yeah.
And one thing is, I tell people, I'm not in it to get rich. I'm in it because I love what I do. It's
Yeah.
it's a passion thing for me. You know, I've invested a lot of money, but it's not about money. I see it as an investment because I'm giving something back.
Yeah.
And that's important to me. It's not about, yes, we need the money to expand and grow Skull Valley Comics, but if I'm able to create an amazing book that people say, hey, you know what, those guys really put that book together, they really knew what they were doing, then I've accomplished everything that, I dreamed of.
That's awesome. Yeah. Maybe we could talk a little bit about Ambrose.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we kind of dig into that? Maybe Brian, you could kick us off as much as you're.
Oh, that's
kind of
right. We made a book.
I know, right?
I forgot we had characters and stuff.
It has drawings, it has words. It's amazing. Cutting edge technology.
Oh, get me started, Brian, because you are blowing my mind, man.
Wow, performance anxiety. It happens to like 1 out of every 5 men, I guess. um, so basically, Ambrose is I want to use this term loosely, alpha male, just because it's thrown around, but this is a Navy SEAL. This is somebody who is literally trained to sneak into your house and kill you, and you don't know he's there. But what happens when his world starts crumbling? You know, you have somebody who's very, black and white. There's no gray area, either do this is your order, or, do whatnot. When you throw in that supernatural element, it creates questions upon questions. Now, not giving anything away, the opening of the book, well, the second opening of the book, I should say, deals with him on a routine mission. He's the only one that comes back alive. I know that's very, oh my God, we've seen this with every Chuck Norris movie from the 80s. Oh my God. But there's nobody else present when it happens. Just leave it at that. So that creates questions upon questions for him. And like a caveman, you tell them not to play with fire, they're going to play with fire all the time. They're going to keep burning. They're very inquisitive. He wants to know the answer because he can't make sense of what happened. And that opens the door to this world realm of supernatural horror elements, a little bit of body horror like David Cronenberg, a little bit of Lovecraftian horror, a little bit of every little trope, all, speckled in. But as, I've been involved in a lot of projects. The biggest problem with them is everybody tries to throw everything into one story. But Kenneth Johnson, the guy who developed that TV show, The Bionic Woman, V, Alien Nation, he lived by a rule that you cannot ask too much of your audience. You have to make them have 1 foot in reality, 1 foot in, the extra-ality, I guess you can call it. And that's what this book serves as, to kick off everything. Yeah. And Chuck, you can add stuff in. There you go. Thanks for throwing me under the bus.
What are we even talking about? Ambrose still?
You don't listen. Oh!
Well, if I'm not talking. I got a message from another person. I'm like, crap, I have to handle this real quick. And then it's like, and Chuck, I'm like, oh, they're going to figure out I wasn't listening.
I'm only kidding with you. But basically.
No, you did great. You got me.
We are taken while Chuck goes back to his phone. I demand respect my authority, to quote Carmen from South Park. Just kidding. We're not really like this. Basically, the superhero genre comes into it a little bit. It's when you look at Buffy, when you look at Supernatural, they have leading characters, the cliche final girls. And if you're familiar with Supernatural, Sam Winchester, he never cut his hair, so he could have been one of those. But they became equal footing with, the antagonist, the Jason Voorhees, the vampires, the yada, yada, yada. What we're going to see is Ambrose use his training to step up into that with mystical help.
Right. Nice. And one thing that, when we were writing this was we didn't want to base it off of, superhero. We wanted to base it like Brian said, on the supernatural. And I would consider him, he's been dropped into this situation. You're either going to swim or you're going to drown. Those type of characters, I think, is more organic, is more natural. It's not about being a superhero. He's just about all survival. Yeah. When something happens, and then when something, when you think you have control and you really don't. And then you're just like, oh, what am I going to do? Or how you react. Yeah. And I feel that from Ambrose's point of view. People are going to see the psychological side, they're going to see the physical side, and then they're going to see a side of a guy who really, like he says, everything begins to crumble at his feet, and he's trying to figure out who am I as an individual or as a person, and that's going to, and I think that's really what's going to bring a lot of his personality, his strength, and who he leans on.
And I
I've
love it.
I've said it before about this book before, but I think like when I kind of got started and I saw the original, because even the character design changed a little bit, and the story and such. And when I first saw it, I was like, I could tell what the inspirations were, what the major inspirations were. And for me, a big goal was let's erase as much of those guidelines as possible, add enough stuff in there that eventually you're not so sure about those inspirations, or at least it's a lot more cloudy. And I think that's something that the entire team did a really good job of doing, of just kind of adding their own stuff in there and playing and having a good time and really turning it into something that was the inspirations are from all over the place. The genres are crossing here and there. There's all sorts of different stuff. There's even like some fantasy in there. Like there's an awful lot of stuff that we played with in this, and yet they were able to pull that off. And I would say it's not muddled. You know, you're not like sometimes you feel like it's throwing so much crap at you, but I'm like, no, it's all it flows really well. And I think that was something else that we all worked very hard to make sure that one page flowed into the next, one scene flowed into the next, everything kind of felt grounded. And even when it got weird, it still felt like this makes sense in this universe.
Yeah, it's just the pacing, and I had to give it. Brian killed it on the pacing. I mean, it took us 2 years, Tommy, 2 years in development, but
With different writers.
yeah, the patience paid off. I always tell people, it's like 2 years. Yeah, 2 years development. We really were really stringent on what we needed for it to be able to the message that we were trying to relay. And Brian, he knocked it out the park.
Love it. That's awesome. And just visually too, after hearing all of that and then seeing, I assume this is Ambrose on the cover of your Kickstarter, maybe not. I'll just leave that alone. But the character that I assume is DeathBlade right here just looks stunning, man. The cape, everything about it. I love how the hood goes over enough to where you can't really see what's going on, but you can
Yes.
a little bit. It's just, oh man, it's dope looking, man. I don't know how to. I mean, obviously, like Spawn comes to mind when I see something like that, just because of the dark colors. But you definitely made it unique and you made it your own. And that slit in the chest with the red pushing through, man. That's dope, man. I cannot wait to see the interiors on this. Is the interior art, Emil, is that going to be the same artist that did this on the Kickstarter?
Oh, for the original suit, and I'm not sure if I sent you the original suit. The original suit is totally
He's looking at the Kickstarter, aren't you?
I'm on the Kickstarter right now. Let me pull it up, and then we
Yeah.
can take a look at it. That might make it a little bit easier.
Why
to
didn't you sign up to get the notifications while you're
Yes.
there?
Yeah, the
I'm on
rest
it.
of you, why don't you all follow?
Yes. Everybody do the same thing. Go to the site. I've already done it myself.
yes.
But yeah, the minute I got an email
Nice.
from you, I was like, and I went, I'm like, damn, that thing looks awesome, man.
Yeah.
So,
That character was developed by a group out of the UK. It was done by Virginie. It's Art of Direction. Um, I know I'm gonna butcher his name, but he's from Spain. Rubio actually developed the character. It took us a week and a half to develop. They took some of the ideals of what I wanted,
mhm.
and the first look, if you see the first look, I'm not sure if I sent you that one, but
Yeah, I can pull that up too.
shows the first look and then you see the new look.
Hmm.
And that was done. I actually had that created by another gentleman. And when we came up with the storyline, it just didn't fit right. You know, we felt that if something supernatural, it will happen from within.
Mm.
You're not going to be putting on a suit. I mean, yeah, they do that, stuff like that, but it will happen from within. So one of the things about this suit was um, we felt that it needed to be built from within. And
Mm.
DeathBlade, like I'm going to say this, DeathBlade is a legion. It's not one character.
Ah, interesting.
If he's a legion, he is not one. It's more than one.
Well, that's yeah, that changes everything that I was thinking too. I love it. I love it. I'll
And
stop guessing. I always
yeah,
get it
So
wrong.
and like I
so
said,
the interior pages,
yeah,
this cover is a different artist, but you go down a little bit, you see that
Yeah.
next scene right there. That's the example of that's actually a panel from the
Yeah.
interior page.
It's
So
beautiful.
yeah, that's the level of art that you can expect. Um, I'm sure Ed will get some more pictures over to you, but yeah, like you guys talked about the scenes and everything like that. Everything matches tonally, like all the color choices were all deliberate and everything like that. And it's a really beautiful book for a lot of different reasons. You get action scenes, you get gore scenes, you get slower scenes, conversational and like love scenes and things like that, and everything, man. I'm really proud of my guys. The name of the artist is Yusuf Shito,
yes.
and Alfred was the colorist, and they really, really just like went to town on this book.
Yeah, you guys are going to definitely, you're going to hear that name. He's very gifted.
Yeah. No,
Yusuf is
it
very
looks phenomenal. That's what I was saying when I went to this page and I was looking. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be pretty dope. So I went ahead and hit it when you sent it to me. But yeah, this is awesome. I cannot wait to see all of it kind of played out. But the art is beautiful. I love it. I love.
and and one thing, Tommy, one thing
Yeah.
people when they see these, they think it's like an action art, like someone's doing an action art. These are interior. So if you
Mhm.
open it in full view, they're actually interior pages.
Wow. I cannot wait to see what this looks like in my hand. I'm a physical copy guy, which my wife hates because they're
Yes, I
everywhere.
do.
But yeah, I gotta hold it and I gotta open it and I gotta really take it all in, man.
I can't wait for you guys to see what's under the hood when this thing launches and you get that full page with all the reward tiers and all,
Yeah.
like examples of all the art, man. When the video drops, oh my god, Ed, he emailed me a like kind of like a motion comic
Yeah,
video, what they may possibly use as an ad, and it's just amazing, man. You
Yeah.
really get to see like the art and
Killer.
motion with all the effects and everything. The lightning and all that. You're gonna love it, man, when you
I
see it.
can't wait. When do you have plans on when some of the trailers will drop?
We're looking for the trailers to drop within another week or so.
Oh, okay, so it'll be soon.
You got more patience than me. If I was holding that in my pocket, I would have fired away immediately. I
Yeah,
got that
got some
strategic
other,
brain.
yeah, we got some other videos. We got some stuff that we're going to be dropping, and some exciting stuff that's going to be amazing. That I feel that to really um, excite the readers, future readers. One of the things that I think that we find challenging as independents is there's thousands or millions of guys like me, and you have to be able to get above the tree. I think sometimes, me and Alim have talked about this, and I'm pretty sure Chuck understands that, and also Brian understands that, is that when you finish a project, I can understand where some creators be like, dude, I'm done. I just want to get it out here, whatever. But you got to give your you have to give your IP the chance to breathe and let the audience see you. And that's marketing and that's promotion. I think sometimes as independents, we lose that. We feel, oh, let's just throw out there and everyone will catch it. Well, if they don't know who you are, you can have the nicest thing in the world. They don't know who you are, then you're not going to be able to get, what you're looking for. So one thing that we want to do, we understand the processes, get the book done, get the PR and the promotions, because that's a big deal. I think for indies, that's challenging for us.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It is a big challenge, but I like your approach. If you can do it, the more time you take as you ease into it, one, you could build a fan base before we even get to the Kickstarter, which would be huge, right?
Right.
And art is going to play a huge role in that, and maybe some voiceovers of Brian's writing, but that will be huge. I think if you get over 100 followers for your first comic, I think that's pretty impressive, to be honest. And you're well on your way.
Well, like we said, TikTok, they didn't cancel TikTok, so we can get Brian up there to do some TikTok moves for us now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. I think that's the route to go. That is definitely the route to go. You also sent me over, I don't know if you want me to pull it up, but it's the ideation of that character, DeathBlade, or
Yes, you can bring it. Hey, show it.
show it. Because it's pretty, I love looking at that kind of stuff just to see the thought process that went into the character,
Mhm.
and why you decided to do what you did. But yeah, this is pretty fun. And also shows kind of the background and the hard work that you put into ensuring
Yes.
that the character is the way that you want the character. You put a lot of time in it. A lot of us rush into it, right? Because I don't know why, but we do. And I don't think you should do that as a creator. This is proof.
We're
Yeah.
excited.
Yes, this is the first suit that we created DeathBlade in.
Yeah.
And that was when we were basing off that ideal. And then we realized that that wasn't gonna work. People wouldn't believe that. And so when we talked about embodiment of DeathBlade, you can see we took some of those elements and we created within this being. And this was done, I got to give Virginia and her team over there in UK. I paid a lot of money for it. Uh, they didn't give me no discounts. Um, um, but they actually work with Lucasfilms. They do all the major DC movies and Star Wars and stuff like that. They put this
Oh.
together for me, and definitely give our directions in UK. If you see this, Virginia, um,
Luckily, they didn't give us the Green Lantern team, right?
yeah. Well, you know what? I think they are working on that. He's work. I,
Oh, okay.
I said so. I should have said. I should have said it.
What mouse?
But the thing that I like about what they did was they took elements of what we wanted and they simplified it, and then they just made it just pop in and the look and the feel that we wanted. We wanted to scare people. This guy, he's not a hero. He's not an anti-hero. He's not trying to be an anti-hero. That's not his thinking. He's out for pure revenge.
I love it, man. A little Punisher in that too, maybe?
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be. I will say this. Um, I feel that he's a tortured person. Like, when you think of Moon Knight, where you see he's tortured mentally, but we took it and we reversed it. His torture and everything is happening right there in front of him. And he's trying to figure out, is it real or not?
Wow.
So that's, I feel with just the suit itself, there's so many secrets. I'm not going to give away a lot, but you guys are going to see a lot more within that embodiment armor. The armor is um, part of the Kane family, and it's an armor that they are called Guardians of Hell.
Hmm.
Anything that is evil, it draws to it draws you to them, and they kill evil. He kills evil. So let's say Spawn was to come up, he'll kill Spawn because
Mhm.
Spawn is evil.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
I love it. You also sent me, it looks like an interior page in black and white. Is it okay if I pull that one up?
Yes, go ahead.
This will allow us to kind of brag a little bit about the interiors too,
Yes.
even though you guys
Yeah, brag,
spoke to this.
brag.
That right there, I'm going to tell you right now, that's useless shit talk. That is freaking wicked.
It looks awesome, man. It looks beautiful, and I love the panel selections too. It's fairly unique, but yeah, that's an awesome action panel for sure.
And you need to see the coloring of it because it's amazing. It's amazing. And that's the character M that the world is going to definitely see. He's a character that I think they're going to really love. He is he's not forgiving. Let's put it like that.
I would love to show that page step by step. Like that's something that you should have the script for that page, then the layouts, the line work, the colors, and then the letters on
Thanks.
top of it.
Yeah.
You can see like that's just like a perfect example of the team at work, and like it just came together so beautifully by the time you finish it. Everything hits, every action, every motion, all of it is just like perfectly represented in that page.
And that's the ideal, Tommy. We want the readers to be so psyched when they read this book that they're turning pages. That, I just want that moment with you. If I get that moment with you, I got you.
Yeah, for sure. No, for
And this right here,
yeah, it looks awesome. I think this is going to be the easiest page for the colorist, though. It's just going to be red. It looks like. Drop red on that and go to the next one, my friend, because that one is pretty much done for you.
yeah, I can tell you, and you lead on to something. This is a rated R book.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I love the mature. It had that video game feel to it when I first saw it. The panel, I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Love
Is
that.
it is decapitation the line between 17 and rated R?
It's
How many severed heads are we allowed to show exactly?
I was gonna say which one.
yeah,
I
No,
think
Well,
this is why
we're
I
just
like comics.
inspired by Highlander. That's it. With the new remake coming out or whatever.
there you
yeah.
go.
Highlander.
Little Henry Cavill
I think
action. Is he
it's
playing Highlander now?
If it ever gets made, I remember when they were talking about the remake when Ryan Reynolds was attached to it in 2009. Maybe it gets made, maybe it doesn't. Sorry, that was random. Squirrel.
Squirrel.
Oh, I love it, man. No, this is so amazing, man. That's why I said, everybody that's watching, get over there, hit the follow button, throw in your email. It doesn't hurt, doesn't cost you anything. It just lets you know when it goes live. But yeah, this artwork hopefully shows you how good this comic is going to be, and then obviously the writing and the storyline and the character development looks freaking phenomenal. Congratulations, by the way. That's what you've already put together is pretty impressive, especially for a group that came together on their first comic together. That's not easy to do. Not easy at all.
And one of the things, and one of the things that I really like about this team is we're all very passionate, and that's about it. All we care about is the book. It's not about personal gain or anything like that. We care about making sure we deliver on DeathBlade, and we're going to have our own opinions. And there's been times when I say, "Hey guys, I think that's a great idea." They'd be like, "Ed, no, that's kind of whack."
That's terrible.
You would think as a creator I would get pissed off and mad. No, I don't, because I get it. It's not about me. It's all about the book. It has to work, And there are some moments where I would say, "Hey guys, this got to work because this is the foundation and stuff like that." But overall, I feel everyone has been able to, as you can see in this book, they've delivered. from Yusuf, from just his angles and shots, and that all falls to Brian, the way that he described it. That falls into where we took all these minds and just formed one big head, and we just able to move forward and being able to
giant-headed comic book creator.
I feel like the writing on this one. Oh, go ahead, Chuck. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, one of the things that Ed says all the time is we don't have yes men at Skull Valley. And
yes.
There was yes, sir. Right away, yes. There was a lot of no's happening.
Yeah, and, collaboration, right?
Collaboration eventually became one hell of a book.
Yeah. There's no yes man in here. If you are a yes man,
what he said, your way onto another company, right?
Over there, because not over here, because we don't believe in that, and that's a big thing, and I think that's definitely what I would say. This, if I had yes men, Tommy, I wouldn't have given you what you're looking at right now.
I don't think you'd be ready right now.
I mean, I would not have been able to deliver what you guys are looking at. And again, these guys, like I said, I stay out of their way. They'll tell you, I may say a little something. I mean, except for Brian, I sent him 300 pages, of DeathBlade.
What's funny is when he wrote this, he probably just put M removes head, panel 2, M removes head.
No, actually what I did was like, we need M to, graphically kill people, have fun, artists.
Yeah.
No, basically, the team we have right now, Eddie spearheading it, Chuck, Alim, us four have been able to work magic. That's awesome. I was with the project since 2022. We've had other people trying to butt their stuff in my way. That doesn't work. Yeah, Chuck, Alim, Eddie will, be kind of the judge of it. We'll bash heads, whatnot, but we listen. We actively listen. So this team right here, again, me, Eddie, Chuck, Alim, perfect. And I've worked on plenty of comic book projects. Just, it's a dream to work with these guys.
That's awesome. I
mean, that's the same way, buddy. Same way.
Yeah, feel the same way. And like I told them, they're not going nowhere. And I know for comic books, people say, well, you got to have different writers and stuff and different artists for the next one. No, I'm not. I'm not doing that.
I don't think that has been proven, to be quite honest. And when writers,
bro, don't fix it.
Yeah, if you read Marvel or DC, these days, and I feel bad for them because, writers and creators want to own their IP. And they've made a lot of money for other big companies. And those ideas are probably sitting back, especially with the boom right now we're seeing in indie. Like, man, I could have created that on my own. Instead, I gave it to them, and now I get nothing out of that, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like, man, this is an amazing opportunity for a bunch of really awesome professionals that come together and create something that is going to have a lot more meaning, I think, long term. This is awesome. I love the idea. I love the concept. I love the art. I love the book, man. I can't wait to get this in my hands.
And, the book we just finished, Alim just finished coloring 32 pages. And here's the thing, you're getting 32 pages wall-to-wall action.
Yeah. That's 10 more than you normally get when you buy a comic book on average, right? So that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. And once it's done, we're definitely going to send it your way, Tommy.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
I want you to definitely review it because we feel you're definitely going to love it. And I know as for Brian, like, Brian said, he is getting credit for it. His name is going to be on it.
As a ghostwriter, that means a lot.
No,
I exist. I exist.
Your name will be there. Will be.
Brian. Wait, which name? Because a lot of people call me different names. It's a rated M comment.
We're going to get a fun one.
Brian X. That's what we call him. We call him Brian X because
So I worked for Scribe Media for a bit, just a background. Mm-hmm. It's ghostwriting. When I first met Eddie, I couldn't really be looking for freelance gigs. So we were going to go with Brian X, just so that doesn't look like, my porn star name or anything like that. Just need clarification.
Because a porn star name is completely different.
It is. I'm not going to say it, though I really want to. Give me a couple of drinks, I might. But
Yeah, knock
anyways.
yourself out, man.
We got Phil McCracken over here, and
Get him in trouble. You're gonna get him in trouble.
I was gonna say my YouTube page is gonna be torn down for 4 days because of you, Brian.
I was trying.
You want me to go big and go home?
No,
I can continue.
we're good. We're
Always the
good, my friend.
bridesmaid, never the bride.
I'll wait till the Kickstarter comes in. All right.
For the dark hermit. Do it.
Sorry, honestly, sorry. I'm just having a good time.
I love it, brother. I love it, man. So, were you all able to be at C2E2 and meet in person, or have you all not met one another yet?
I met them in spirit.
Yeah, I haven't met Ryan. I haven't met Chuck yet, but I do plan to go down to Connecticut to see Brian, and Chuck's in Canada right now. So
Nice. What part of Canada, Chuck?
Wild with the world.
I'm in Northern Ontario, so a couple hours north of Toronto.
Yeah. I don't know if that's considered the ETA. That might be a little further than the ETA, right?
The ETA?
Yeah, the GTA around
Oh,
the greater
GTA.
Toronto area.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely outside of the GTA, but I grew up in the GTA, so that is like I'm looking to move soon, and when I go there, I'll be in the GTA. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
That's my hood.
I worked in Canada for 6 years, so I know the area a little bit. At least Toronto,
Oh, nice.
Vancouver, one of the most beautiful places you ever go, for sure.
it is.
Vancouver, I know, right?
It's definitely beautiful. Yeah, Vancouver over there is amazing.
It's insane how beautiful it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, we're all over, and also our variant covers. We have two amazing variant cover guys. Oscar Pinta from DC, who did Joker's World.
Yeah.
Yes. He's one of their top artists. He did a variant cover for us, which is, dude, it's that he killed it.
Yeah.
And then we have Leo Cleopatra. He's from Image. He's the new cover guy over there. He's doing Spawn. He's doing all the major stuff over there for them. Those guys have really been special. Something that was kind of unique that people probably aren't going to notice is when we first came out with DeathBlade, he didn't really have a mouth. And so it was it was for a certain reason why we didn't want it. But Oscar Pinta from DC said, Ed, you got to put a mouth on him. He's got to be able to articulate and talk. And I was like, you know what? I never thought about that. I said, that makes sense. And Leo agreed. And what really makes these guys really unique is Leo went and drew it and told us exactly, said, you got to do this, this, this. Here, I'm going to draw it for you. Now, these guys aren't cheap, okay? They're not cheap, right? No, thank you, Angel Perry, for bringing them to us, but they're not cheap. She delivered them for us, but Leo went and drew DeathBlade. He told us exactly what we needed to do, and didn't even charge me. He believed in he believed in the project so much. He said, Ed, you're going to do well. This is what you need to do. And he didn't have to do that.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, dude, that's and I have the utmost respect for him. Anything he says, I respect him with utmost. And that just goes to show you all of us are giving to this project. It's not just about money, it's time.
Energy.
Yeah. It's everything. Chuck is more than an editor for me. He's also helps in the story as well. Alim, Yusuf, when Yusuf did M, the look that you see now, that was not that look before. When he did M and he did that new look on M, it was nights out. I was like, what the?
you know, everybody, M, the character that you haven't been able to see yet, that you'll definitely be able to see on the Kickstarter, though.
Yeah, the one with the fighting scenes. That's the one. That's the one you know, like I tell people, hey, you think DeathBlade is cool. Wait till you see M because you haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
No, but those like I said, just everyone has played a role in this, and
We have a great team.
Yeah.
that's
You know, it's spearheaded by Eddie. So, you know, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, as a reader, right, you know when everyone isn't kind of jiving when they're putting a book together, when the artist and the writer or maybe the editor had a different idea and you're reading, you're like, I'm not sure what they were trying to do in this one. So I think it's so important that you jive like that. You all get along and you have a lot of collaboration because then it drives passion and you just can put forth something pretty amazing. So congrats on that. So we'll have 3 covers altogether or 2 altogether.
we'll have 3 covers.
Okay. Yeah.
Except there will be a 4th cover. The 4th cover will be we're doing an early bird cover, but it's only 200 seats. It'll be early bird only for a week, and it's collector's item. It will only be something that those 200 people will have.
Okay.
And it's $50 early bird, and you will get your pledges early. You'll be the first ones to get it.
Love it. That's awesome, man. Well, gentlemen, I can't tell you how much I have enjoyed meeting all of you. I'm very excited about this. I hope that we could do this again, especially with everything that you're all working on for Skull Valley, especially these other titles. Anytime you want to join, I would love to have it. For everybody listening, the link is below. Get over there. Hit that notify me button. It's super easy. It's not going to cost you anything. And you're going to get a nice email letting you know when it's live. And then you can make your decision. But it starts with hitting that notify button there. And yeah, and then as far as, you know, people who want to follow you on, you know, Instagram, TikTok, or wherever you're at, what do we look up in order to make a follow?
You can follow us on, we have 2 Instagrams. We have DeathBlade AWK, which stands for The Awakening, or you can follow us on Skull Valley Comics on Instagram. Or if you want to reach out to us on our website, it's skullvalleycomics.com. You can actually follow us on there or send us an email, and we'll definitely take suggestions, and we're always open to that. So, you know, that's the way of you can follow us, as well as on our Facebook page. We haven't really worked too much on Facebook, but we'll be doing a little bit more on Facebook within the next coming weeks.
Yeah, believe it or not, Facebook is like really good for comics. A lot of folks are on that, and they really help one another around Kickstarter. I'm sorry, what did I talk over someone?
No.
Oh, I thought someone was saying something. My bad. But yeah, no, I think that's awesome. I'll put those down there. We'll make it so easy that everyone can follow and stay up to date, right? Because I assume once those trailers hit, if you're not subscribed, you might miss it, right? And have to see it later.
Definitely. Those trailers are fire. We got some serious trailers coming out and teasers coming out too. So
That's
be ready.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, everybody get over there, hit that subscribe button or the notify me button, and then get ready. April timeframe, man. It's going to be going live. We'll remind you, don't worry. But gentlemen, Brian, Chuck, Alim, Ed, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's been a pleasure meeting you. And again, let's do this again, maybe when we get closer to the Kickstarter.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for having us.
Love that.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. It was nice meeting you, Tommy.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you, gentlemen.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.